everybody. It's great to see you. Welcome. Welcome to the folks sitting in the sanctuary. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. And for those of you who are at home, welcome to you as well. Here we are. I'm Reverend Bonnie Rose.
Sit back, relax, enjoy our Kindness Cathedral. And I'm going to pass the word over to Lonnie, our board president.
Good morning, everyone. So next will be ABCs.
What? Oh, because we counted. Yeah.
Because we counted.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I think it's going to be kind of an exciting day today.
Okay.
First of all, we have a new musician.
Yay, Tony!
And I noticed he sat as far away as possible from Reverend Karen, who let us all know that she was going to be on pulpit, and yes, she did dress today.
Good to know.
I didn't know it was optional.
It isn't, people. It is not optional. This is not a clothing optional church, just so you know. Okay.
So if this is your first time, yes, it's always like this. So please come back or tell your friends and don't come back. I don't know. Whatever suits you, because we are here to be love, share love, and serve love, and we do it in our own unique way. So settle in and let's have a great morning.
Thank you. Thanks, Lonnie. And we've got Bill, who is our youth and family person, one of our youth and family people. Are the kids going to come forward today or not?
If they'd like to, they can come down.
Want to come down? Come on stage?
Come on
Come
down.
on, y'all. Yay! Hey, kiddos. Hi. Good to see you. Hi. Got to move over. Hello again. Hello. Here. Do you want to come in over here? I'll get out of your way. There you go. There you go. Perfect. All right. Boom, 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 boom.
So, good morning.
Good morning.
As Reverend Bonnie said, I'm Bill Hadris with Youth and Family. And who's had a tune-up lately? Few people? Do you have one planned?
Yes, ongoing.
Yeah? All right. We have some out there. Well, you know, this piano has a plan. The middle C gets reset, and all the other strings get aligned with it. My grandfather always asked, when are we going to take the car in for a tune-up? He would say, it's missing some of its pep and power. We go to the dentist to clean, check, and improve the health and vitality of our teeth. I go through my clothes closet to get rid of the things that don't look good or fit anymore. So just like our teeth, our closets, our cars, and pianos need a tune-up, we also need to take the time on a regular basis to have a spiritual tune-up. Wouldn't you like more pep and power? Yes. More vitality in your life? Yes. So take some time to reevaluate. Get support from a practitioner. Sign up for a class. And most of all, lose the things that don't look good on you. Like unhappiness or judgment. Be that which you want to experience in the world. You already have it in you. So I invite you to repeat after me. Today, I am realigned with spiritual truth.
Today, I am realigned with spiritual truth.
And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Bill. Thank you. Reverend Karen, let's do a prayer.
So if our practitioners and ministers would stand and support this prayer, as we join together with one heart, one soul, one mind, absolutely knowing the presence of Spirit within this beautiful energy of life here today. And it's so wonderful that we are all here together, bringing this energy into this beautiful sanctuary, knowing that it is all of our energy is the energy of Spirit, is the energy of the universal one heart. And knowing this and feeling it within myself, it is all of who I am. It is my power and my presence and my creativity and my kindness and my caring. That presence is within each and every person here today. It is within all life, in all levels, on on all levels, in all forms. That's it, God. Yes. Speak through me right now. And that's what we are. That's what nature is. That's what the world is, the earth is. Everything that makes this planet what it is life, it's spirit. It is all filled with that beautiful energy. And this service today that Reverend Bonnie is delivering, as Spirit speaks right through her heart, right through her soul, and each one of us individually takes this message, brings it into what we need to hear in our lives to make our lives better, to make our lives enriched. And I won't say better because our lives are already blessed, and each and every moment is a blessing. It is a blessing of Spirit, is a blessing with so many gifts for us to look at, no matter what the moment is dressed in, whether it's dressed in clouds or in beautiful sunlight. Each moment has a message for us. And joining together, opening our hearts, opening our minds, and listening and celebrating this beautiful Sunday morning with Reverend Bonnie and each other, knowing that we are all one heart here today, as always. And in gratitude for being here, and gratitude for knowing the power of prayer, and gratitude for knowing life and for being a part of this beautiful family. Let's join together and release this beautiful prayer into the magnificent universal law of creation and manifestation and the heart of God. And together we say, and so it is.
And so we continue in that beautiful space that Karen brought us to with her wise words. And we breathe in and we breathe out. We allow ourselves to go deeper into our center, the center of our being, which is love. And in this place of love, we listen to the words of our sacred reading.
A meditation on abundance from It's Not Your Money by Tosha Silver. Love communicates through the instincts, and especially through the body. It feels welcomed through meditation and prayer. Let us meditate together for the abundance and well-being of all. Focusing on your breath. Feel yourself sinking into the earth, your body heavy and relaxed. Now, however you envision it, imagine your own abundance. Whether it's financial abundance or something else, even if you feel as if you have little of it at this time. Get a clear symbolic picture of your abundance in your mind's eye. Now imagine that you're taking this symbol to love itself, however you envision it. Feel that you're offering any sense of burden to the divine, and that you're saying, make me ready. I'm ready to be shown. I'm ready to open to well-being. I'm ready to have this burden belong to you. I'm ready to allow old restrictions, constraints, limits, and baggage to go. Take me over and begin to do what my ego never could. Take me over and begin to allow this change. Let me be uplifted and transformed. And now imagine yourself again offering your entire burden to that force of love. See what happens when you do so. You may see a word, you may hear something, you may just feel it. Know that whatever troubles or worries you have can finally be offered to God. What a relief. You're really finally offering it. And you're asking to be shown the right actions from today onward. Those right actions will be shown step by step from the inside, and all in right timing. And now then, as you're ready, come back out. Make a mental note of anything that may have happened. Even the smallest message may turn out to be important. For everything, great and small, belongs to the beloved. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you. And let's stay focused within just for a few moments. Breathing in and breathing out, allowing ourselves to be still and know. In a moment, we'll invoke the remembrance of the I Am presence. I Am is another name for God. I am that I am. But it's also a name for the individualized Spirit of God that lives and moves and has its perfect being within us. It is love, it is grace, it is peace, harmony, abundance. It is all of those things. And today we get to remember in community. For when we gather in community and remember, we lift each other up as we deepen at the same time in our own remembrance. We remember the I Am for ourselves, for our own individual lives, but also knowing that there is no such thing as an individual life because we are all one. We are one with every being on the planet, the animal kingdom, the plants, the flowers, the stars, the entire cosmos. The I Am is everything. And today we connect with that as we sing. So we sing this song together for behalf of ourselves, for everyone in this room, and for the entire cosmos. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. Resting in that space of divine remembrance, let us breathe in deeply. And then exhale, gently opening our eyes in love and in service to what is, as it is, and so it is. So that was both sides now? More or less. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, it was great. I know. It's like, I'm amazed that you played Joni Mitchell in this church without everybody joining in, because... There you go. Now you're talking. Please feel free. We're riled up frequently. So anyway, the talk this morning is 5 steps to all kinds of abundance. And by all kinds of abundance, I mean all kinds of abundance. Whether it's abundance of financial well-being, whether it's abundance of health, abundance of goodwill, abundance of kindness, abundance of positive relationships in our lives. It's all kinds of abundance. So you take whatever I'm saying and apply it to whatever feels like it's not abundant in your life, okay? And if you would, just now, make a mental note. Is there anything in your life that feels like it's kind of stagnated, that feels like it's kind of a shadow in your life, that feels like it's not quite right? Just take a moment and see if there's anything. And then I'm trusting that you'll be able to apply some of these words that I say to whatever is personal for you. Now let's talk about these dogs up here. I feel like, like in certain pictures they put a black bar over private parts. As I was looking at it, I thought maybe I should have put a black bar over the dog butts because it's not the most flattering angle of those puppies, but those are actually a couple of church dogs. One belonged to Karen Mondragon Buddy, who has made his transition. That's the Dalmatian, and that's the one in the middle is, what's her name? What? Norma, the Rottweiler. Yeah, she belonged to somebody who is gone elsewhere now, and Norma is no longer with us either. The one on the right is Bartok. Bartok is my dog. He's a Vizsla, and he's very lively. And that one, it was when he was quite little. He was just, I don't know, under a year old. I used to bring him to the beach to wrestle with his friends. And one day we were at the beach, and Vizslas in particular like to chase birds. They're pointers, and they like to chase birds. So there was a huge pelican sitting by the edge of the surf, and Bartok saw it, and he got all excited, and he raced after the pelican, and he was chasing the pelican. It was above him, but then he actually looked down, and he saw the pelican's shadow. So he was chasing the pelican's shadow, and he ran so fast that he ran past the shadow, and he was like, wait, what am I chasing? And then he shook himself off and went and played someplace else. And so, I ponder that metaphor. Are we chasing a shadow in our lives? Is a shadow chasing us? And how can we ever catch the shadow? Or can we just shake ourselves off and do something new, do something else? I'm kind of voting for the latter, for shaking the shadow off, respecting it because it's important, but also being able to just move past it like Bartok did. So our purpose today, this talk is based on the work of Tosha Silver, who wrote It's Not Your Money, a fantastic book. There's one up there, and there's some in our bookstore. And she wrote about various things, but it's mostly a book about offering ourselves to the divine. You heard the reading that Hugh did. That was a lot about trusting the Spirit and offering whatever our burdens are to that divine presence. But today we're going to look at the shadow of lack. Like I mentioned before, we all have different forms of lack going on in our lives from time to time. So if you have one, look at the shadow of lack, and then see if we can find ways to turn to the light. And today I'm going to provide you with 5 simple tools from this book, simple tools that any of us can do. They don't cost anything, they're free. It just requires a little bit of mental effort on our part. But I'll tell you something that I'm learning now that I'm in my 60s. It's much harder to hold the energy of angst and fear and lack than it is to simply turn towards the light and relax and let it be. So let us relax into the light this morning. The first step is to do the Change Me prayer. This is in the book, and we also have handouts in the social hall if you'd like to get a copy of it. The gist of the Change Me prayer is to change me into someone who is able to give freely and someone who is able to receive freely. And I'll just read this quote from you now. Divine Beloved, change me into someone who can give with complete ease and abundance. Let me be an easy, open conduit for your prosperity. And equally, please change me into someone who can feel wildly open to receiving. I'm seeing people shaking their heads. Maybe just one person. Yeah. Wildly open to receiving. What does that look like? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I heard you. Uh-huh. Everybody say, uh-huh. Good job. Thank you. I was going to make you read the whole prayer with me, but uh-huh suffices, I think, don't you? Okay. All right. So it's also it's a prayer about allowing ourselves to give and allowing ourselves to receive. And the way that we do that is by offering everything to the divine. All of our burdens, all of our perception of lack, all of our perception of ill will, all of our perception that there's something wrong, all of our lives, we offer it to the divine. We offer our burdens. Our offering practice changes resistance to allowing. I think many of you who have been here before have heard me say many times, and Karen alluded to it in her prayer, that the good is all around us, but we don't necessarily let it in. If I were to stand up here with a $100 bill, which sadly I forgot today, and asked, who wants it? Would anybody be shy about raising their hand and saying, I want it? It's hard. It's hard to let good in sometimes. Try giving somebody a compliment, and they're like, oh, no. Sometimes people will give me a compliment about that I'm a kind person, and I feel compelled to tell them all of the ways that I haven't been kind in this past century, So it's hard for us sometimes to take in the good, but offering to the divine allows the divine to take in the good or push away the good if it's not really good, or to just be that presence where the good can flow not only in us, but from us. It can flow through us, right? We talk a lot about Abraham Hicks' work in this thing, and I said this the last time I spoke, but I'm just still so struck with this practice about non-resistance that she had. I was really upset with somebody in my life away from here, and I was so upset, and I went and I listened to an Esther Hicks tape. If you don't know who she is, she channels an entity known as Abraham, and she suggested that instead of being upset with a person, you just try and think about 10 things that are good about them. And I thought, that's not going to work. But I did it, and you know what? I felt better. It was allowing the bigger picture to come in, allowing the bigger picture of truth, that this person is not all bad. There's actually a lot of good in this person, and I don't have to be quite so perturbed with them, right? Okay? So there's that. And then our offering affirms the presence of God. Our offering affirms that there is a God that is both within and among and around us, that is here and now. The kingdom of heaven is here and now. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. The kingdom of heaven is within us. The kingdom of heaven is spread upon the earth, but we don't see it, right? It affirms the presence of God in our lives, and it affirms, and we offer ourselves to that divine, it affirms a certain type of relationship with God. Now this, if you have old notions of God as somebody who smites people and throws thunderbolts and what like that, I would just leave that on the altar and don't go home with it, okay? Just give that up, because I can't believe any other thing than that God is complete love, God is complete power, God is the power that can change anything, God is completely possible. Our offering opens ourselves up to that energy. We stop resisting the beauty and the power and the love of the divine as we offer all of our burdens, all of ourselves to that divine energy. Okay? Change me, divine beloved. Help me to trust your amazing abundance so that I may give and receive freely. You want to read that one with me? Change me, divine beloved. Help me to trust your amazing abundance so that I may give and receive freely. Okay, we've said it for ourselves. We've said it for each other. Somebody, St. Augustine, I said, when you sing a prayer, you pray twice, right? Because you hear it and you speak it. Would anybody like to stand up and sing this for us? Maybe not. Okay. All right. Okay. Next step in terms of cultivating abundance is to clean up and to clean out. I have a question. Does anybody have their old disco wear still in your closets? If you do, let me know, because Chris has been looking for a pair of purple spandex pants like that guy, okay? But seriously, you may not have your old disco wear in your closet, but you may have things that you haven't worn in 10 years, 20 years, right? Things that you're just clinging to. Now, some things you're going to want to keep, of course. I have a book of my mother's corsages that she got when she was in high school from her proms. And I like to think about her when she was a girl and thinking about all that sweet energy that went into her hopes and her dreams for her life, you know? Hi, Mom. Thank you. But other things you're going to want to cast out. See that person in the middle, right between Eckhart Tolle and Lord Krishna? That's me. That's me. That was the last time I cleaned out one of the last times I cleaned out my closet, and I found that wig. And Brian Eller took a picture of it for me. And I gave it away to someone who now also gets to look like Harpo Marx, you know? So there's probably many things in our lives that are like that we can clean out. Pockets of stagnation. One of the other beautiful parts about this, too, is that, you know, it's much easier to change our lives by working on something in the physical world. By working, like when I taught this class, I asked people to look for an addiction and work on that, because it's easier to see what we're doing when we're actually dealing with something physical. It's harder to deal with our mental addictions and our mental pockets of stagnation. So do something physical. And cleaning out, clearing out is saying, it's almost like your body is telling your mind and your heart, I no longer need to be stuck. I no longer need to be bound by the past. So we clean out, we clear out, and we do it the best way we can. It's the difference between having versus clinging. In the last book that we taught, we learned from Cynthia Bourgeault that Jesus, the Christ, said that it's fine to have what you want. We are here to live life and live life abundantly, but clinging is a different story. Clinging indicates a lack of trust. Clinging indicates a feeling or a belief that God will not provide. Clinging makes us misappropriate source, right? We think that this thing that we have is our source. We think that our job is our source. We think that our body is our source, when really God is our source of everything. So there's having and there's clinging. Notice what you're clinging to and see if you can let it go. And then ask the divine how to start, where to start, when to start. In the Tosha Silver book, she says, you know, one of the first things that one of her clients cleaned out was their wallet. That was the most they were willing to commit to. Cleaned out their wallet, took out all the old registrations from years gone by, all the old insurance papers, and just cleaned it. Then she moved to her purse. Then she moved to her drawer. Then she moved to her whole house. So you can start anywhere, but just ask the divine. And if we're stuck with something, if we're saying, should I really hold on to these purple spandex pants, Chris? We can say, divine beloved, show me what I'm supposed to do with this. Should I let it go? Should I keep it? Just like that. Oh, the third thing, refrain from complaining. All right, true confession here, but we'll do a show of pinkies so you don't have to raise your whole hand in case you're embarrassed. Who here really enjoys a good run of complaining? Okay, I see even some hands up. Okay. Yeah, complaining is really compelling, isn't it? It's really compelling, and it's all around us, and the culture really supports complaining. Right now, the culture that we're in supports complaints from everybody. It's almost the way that we've learned how to communicate, is with complaining, and it's complaint added with a certain level of snark, right? Have you noticed? It's not just me. Not just me listening to myself, no. But the thing about complaining is that it binds us to what we're complaining about. It gives undue power to the thing that we're complaining about. And really, in the truth of who we are, where there is no self to be agitated, there is no self that we are like the infinite, stretched and smiling repose. We are that place that is aware yet unaffected by everything. That's what the true self is. There's really no need to complain in that. Now, we can discern, and maybe we can complain about something once in our discernment process. But the thing is that we don't have to repeat it over and over again, and then tell our friends, and then tell our friends to tell their friends. And you know what we do, right? I don't need to elaborate on this. We don't have to complain over and over again. What if we could do something else? We'll talk about what that something else is in a minute. But refraining from complaining. One of the things that complaining does is that it keeps us in fear. It keeps us in a state of fear, and it keeps us in a state of looking for what is wrong in the world. So it's it's the way our brains are made. We have this structure in our brain called the amygdala that looks for threats. And that's what we do. We're scanning our environment for threats all the time, right? And we're constantly looking for what is wrong in the world while we ignore how much there is that's right in the world. And my theory, I don't know if this is true, I've been affected a little bit by the current culture, but my belief is that what's wrong in the world stands out because it's an anomaly. There is so much of what's right in the world that what's wrong in the world it catches our attention because it's different. It's different than the truth of the goodness in all things, okay? So it's possible to go to church and pray in faith, or to go into your meditation practice or your prayer practice and pray in faith, and then roam around in the rest of your life living in fear, which means complaining a lot. Complaints are a symptom of fear. We already talked about that. And complaints also are forgetfulness, which I mentioned. Complaints are forgetting the true nature of existence, which is the isness of God, the love and the power and the presence of God, spread out upon the earth that we get to see. Now, some will argue with that everything is God. That's for a different talk, okay? I'm not going to cover that today in the remaining 10 minutes or so that I got. But just if you can, try shifting your consciousness to a complaint-free zone or a lessened complaint zone, and start practicing something else instead and see what happens. You may see more of the presence of God spread about in everything if you do that. Oh, complaints also indicate a belief in separation from God. And as the poet Hafiz said, our separation from God, from love, is our hardest work in the world. I would edit that a little bit. I'd say it's our most important work in the world. Because when we really get into it, it gets super easy. It gets really easy and really fun. So an alternative to complaining, you could say this. Why don't you read this with me? Complaints get in the way of my greatest good. I offer all my worries and complaints to love. Whatever I need always arrives in divine timing. For divine love is my only source. Good job. Thank you. The other alternative to complaining is to express profuse gratitude. I mentioned this before when I was talking about being irritated with somebody, and I listened to an Esther Hicks message, and she said, be grateful for 10 things about that person. She said, list 10 things that are positive about that person, but that's the same thing as gratitude. List 10 things that are positive about the situation. Expressing gratitude releases resistance and raises vibrations. So when we are in a state of complaint, we are resisting the blessings of spirit, okay? When we're in a state of gratitude, it's like we open up the welcome wagon and welcome in the blessings of God that are all around us. Where attention goes, energy flows, right? If you are focusing on what is wrong with life, you will see more and more and more of what is wrong with life. Remember, we don't see what we believe. We don't. Wait. See, I always get this wrong. Why can I never do this? We believe what we see, right? We believe what we see. No, we see what we believe. Okay, this is the real one. We see what we believe. Thank you, Lonnie. Our thoughts create our impression of what the world is, right? And you know that everybody here has a different impression of what the world is, right? Do we need to do an elbow touching? I think we do, really. Okay, touch your elbow. Okay. Are you touching your body? Good. No. No. All right. Are you touching your entire body? No. See? Everybody's like, no. They're tired of this. I can't help it. I love it. So this is our relationship with truth. We think we've got the whole truth, but we're really only touching our elbow. We don't have the whole truth. The whole truth is beyond our imagination. So our movement into gratitude allows us to move into a greater perception of truth, and then our energy will flow to that greater perception. A complaint is a prayer for what is unwanted. I remember reading this in Science of Mind magazine. It actually said, worry is a prayer for what you don't want to have happen, right? Same thing. Complaint is just another form of worry, anxiety, fear. Complaint is a prayer for what is unwanted, whereas gratitude is a prayer for what is wanted. People. When the practitioners line up here at the end of the service with their stoles on and you come up to them for prayer, would you say, yeah, I want you to pray for this thing that I don't want. I want it to happen because I don't want it. No, of course you wouldn't. You would pray for what is wanted. And gratitude is a way of praying without ceasing. Gratitude is a way of expressing what's your heart's desire in every moment of every day. You can practice gratitude anywhere. Okay? The fifth technique is to affirm our receive ability. To affirm our receive ability. Do you have challenges with receiving? Right? I mentioned that before when I was talking about compliments, that many of us struggle with receiving. And you might take a moment to look at if you do have challenges with receiving or where that challenge is in you. If you have challenges with receiving, I invite you to remember the heart. Okay? Or even yet, we can do something with our breathing. So let's pretend we're compulsive givers and we don't ever receive. So I want you to exhale. You can inhale now. If we only exhaled, we wouldn't be here. We have to give and receive the breath, right? And same with the heart. I mean, everything in our body, the heart is such a great example because it's such a central aspect and it has such intelligence. The heart has to give and receive. It has to receive the unoxygenated blood, and then it has to pump the oxygenated blood around the body. It has to give and receive that blood. And just think about your heart for a minute. Place your hand over your heart if you feel like it, and how this instrument of giving and receiving is already alive and thriving within you. And it's not only in your heart, it's in every cell. Every cell functions because of an exchange of ions across the cell membrane. Every single cell, cardiac muscle, muscle, spinal, every nerve cell functions because ions exchange. So everything that we're doing, right, what I'm doing right now in my body, everything that I'm doing is an exchange of ions. And right now we're exchanging through talking and listening and receiving, right? So everything in life is an exchange. So why not participate in that exchange in a positive manner, which means that you give, but you also cultivate ways to be able to enhance your receiving. It's helpful, I find, to look at things that we do successfully receive. And really, actually, we do receive a lot. I mean, we've received this life, we receive flowers. God gives us flowers every single day. Isn't God wonderful? You know, we receive fruit and food and all this stuff. So if we cultivate our receiving, we'll be able to receive, by looking at what we already have received, we'll be able to expand our receiving. And we expand our receiving, as we say in our affirmation, we expand our receiving so that we can receive and then give it and then receive again and then give it. It's an ongoing cycle that never stops. We're just participating with truth through our willingness to receive. By the way, the Star of David is there because to me it's a symbol of as above, so below, right? So if our heart works like this, our heart and our bodies work into receiving, live by receiving and giving, then that is a demonstration of the nature of God, the divine, okay? And a generous heart circulates. Question for all of you. How many of you played lotto when it was $1 billion? Yeah. Anybody here win? Can we talk? Okay. Yeah. I think the ticket was in Illinois. But, you know, I am doing this spiritual practice of talking to strangers through this other thing that I'm involved in. And so whenever I buy a lotto ticket, because I only buy it when it's super high, you know, I will ask the person that I buy it from, do you play? And usually they say yes. And then I say, what are you going to spend it on? It's so sweet. You know, they usually say, I'm going to pay off my house, and then I'm going to give it away. And I think that our heart is so generous. I think our hearts are so generous that we just want to, that we want to circulate. But in order to give your lotto winnings away, you have to receive it first. And the truth is that we've already won the lotto just by being here. there's some mystical story that if I'm paraphrasing this because I don't think they had hula hoops at the time when the story was written, but if you were in the vastest ocean, in the biggest ocean, and something like 3 miles up were to drop a hula hoop and have it land on you, that's a metaphor for how the chances are of you being born. It is really a unique and wonderful, magical experience to be born into this incarnation. It doesn't always feel like it, but the only reason it doesn't feel like it is so that we can discover how unique and wonderful and beautiful life really is by doing spiritual work like these 5 steps I've been talking about. So we let our generosity flow both to and from us, to and fro. It's easy for me to receive. Repeat after me. It is easy for me to receive. I am a wide receiver.
I am a wide receiver.
Does anybody know who that is? What? No. I wouldn't know a wide receiver if I fell over one. In fact, I didn't even know what it was. I didn't even know it was until I started watching this TV program. This is a TV program about a young African-American boy who is a wide receiver in high school. It's a good show. All American, right? That's what it's called? Yeah, it's really good. Really good. And the football is amazing. I don't think it's really high school football, however. At least it wasn't my high school. Anyway, I digress. Say it one more time. I am a wide receiver. And so you are, yes. So here's an example. I was listening to this pastor talk about something on a podcast, and it's, I don't remember his name, and it's not something I would really recommend. It's very different from our theology, but I was listening to it for a very specific reason. Somebody recommended it to me for something. Anyway, he was talking about when he was building a church. He was building a mega church, and he had a lot of folks in his church, but they were moving to a bigger facility. They were going to build a new facility that was going to put his church on the map. And when they poured the foundation and they put some of the beams up and they did what you do when you build. And then 2008 came and the recession hit. And so he had this kind of gaping hole where there used to be a church, and there wasn't enough money to build it. And he said he felt humiliated, he was ashamed, he felt like he had done wrong, he felt like God had let him down. And then one day, it's funny because this was kind of an evangelical Christian speaker, but you know how he dealt with it? He went to where the church, the rudimentary areas of the church were, where it was in process, with weeds all around it and dirt and everything. He went and stood in the center of the church, and he said he spoke into faith what he wanted to receive, what he wanted to see, what God wanted him to do, and he blessed every window and every door, and he blessed all of the sanctuary, and he blessed all of the campus buildings around it. This is exactly what we would do, by the way. We would stand in the center of something barren and see it full, right? It's exactly what we would do. And he did it, and he left the church, and then he immediately started going into fear and doubt again. So much so that when somebody called him and said, I've noticed that you have this lot with a church building on it, and I would like to donate the grass for the lot. And it was a huge campus, it was a huge lot. And the guy called the church's secretary first, and she said, this guy wants to speak to you about giving you some grass for your lot. And he's like, oh, I'm not. People always say they're going to give stuff, and they don't. Just have the board member call him. The board member called him. The board member called the pastor back and said, you know what? I think he wants to give us this grass. The minister was like, what kind of grass are you talking about? Because that's a lot of grass there. So the minister agreed to meet with the grass man, and they went to the place, and the guy was talking all about what he could do, and the minister still was saying, this guy's, he's gonna try and sell me something. He's gonna try and make me believe he's giving this to me for free, and he's not gonna give it to me. And it turned out that he needed something like 18 big trucks worth of grass to cover all of it. And lo and behold, the man came through. He gave him 18 trucks of grass for free. And the minister was saying, again, something similar to what we would say. He'd say, I don't know how that grass got in there because I was praying in faith and living in fear. Right? So I have a feeling that may happen to others in this room. It may not be about 18 trucks full of grass, but it may be other stuff, like you do your prayer, right? And then you go into your life, oh, here's something to complain about. Let me complain about this for a really long time and tell all my friends. Oh, I'm not grateful for that. Forget it. Oh, here's my purple spandex things. I'm not getting rid of that. I'm attached to these things. So we pray in faith and then we live in fear. And it's time to stop doing that, right? So are you praying in faith but living in fear? Notice if you do that in this next week. Does your faith extend beyond Sundays or your spiritual practice or whatever it is you do? Does your faith follow you and carry you into your life? Does God go with you wherever you go? The answer is yes, but we don't always know it, right? God is everywhere, but we don't always see it. And then, do you know that God is greater than fear? God is greater than the impossible. God is greater than what we doubt. God is greater than anything that we can dream of. I remember one of our practitioners here today, who used to say, yeah, I've got a problem that feels like it's too big for God, right? Not true. Nothing is too big for God. It's just we offer it. We offer it to the divine, and it may take some time, but that time lag between our offering and the time we actually see results is an opportunity for us to grow in faith. Because if things didn't take time, God would be like an ATM, and we wouldn't grow from that. I don't really grow in faith from using the ATM. I just trust that it's going to come, right? In my time, as in ATM time. But when things take time, it's an opportunity for us to grow. It's an opportunity for us to stretch past our barriers to receiving and to trust in a power and a presence that totally has our back in all things. The other thing, too, that I want to just recommend is that we don't necessarily get so attached to what the results need to look like, right? Because what happens sometimes is if we pray for something and we say it has to look like this, right? And we're looking over here, the demonstration or the results of the prayer is like, hey, I'm over here, look over here. But we're so focused on this that we can't see that, right? So, some of the practices that I'm recommending here will actually help expand our vision so that we can encompass a wider range of view and see God appearing in all things. So, quick review. How will you live like the truth is true? How will you live like your prayers are true? How will you live like your faith is true? Do the Change Me prayer, like I said, copies in the back. Clear out your stuff, okay? Refrain from complaining, practice gratitude, and affirm your receivability. I am a wide receiver. I am open and willing to receive. I am here to receive all of God's blessings. Things like that. There are some tools for you in the social hall. We've got copies of the Change Me prayer, as I said. We've also got the summary of the 5 steps to all kinds of abundance that I spoke about today. We've got complaint bracelets. I'm wearing a complaint bracelet now. It doesn't snap like a rubber band. It's just to remind you to look down occasionally and see where your consciousness is. See if you're in a complaining mode or if you're in a gratitude mode, okay? I'm not sure if we have enough for everyone, but if we run out, we'll get some more, okay? So you want to be first back there to get your complaint bracelet, okay? We also have, oh, stop that. I pushed the wrong button. Oh, no, still pushing the wrong button. Okay, there we go. We have Tosha Silver's book, right? And the other thing, this is to address your spandex bell bottoms, Chris, is, don't you love it when I love picking on Chris. He's just such a good target. You're a good sport. Good sport. I've known him for a really long time. So anyway, this is to address your spandex bell bottoms and other things like it, your curly-headed wigs that you might not want to hold on to anymore. We're going to have a yard unsale that is being put together by our very own Jennifer Hadras, who works in the office now, soon to be a minister, Jennifer Hadras. And what a yard unsale means is that you bring all your stuff to the church, right? Bring all your stuff. We'll give you the details later. You bring it to the church, we store it for you, and then on a Saturday and Sunday at the end of August, we're doing a priceless pricing yard sale where people can come and pay what they want. They make a donation for what they want, okay? So that's an opportunity for you to start this process of cleaning out your stuff. Isn't that super fun? Yay! Who's going to go home and clean something out today? All right. Okay, so one more thing, and then we're good to go. Just a reflection for you, okay? Do you realize how much effort it takes to block your blessing? how much effort it takes to prevent God from being God as your life. Habits of normalized fear and regular complaints, worry, and doubt have been an effort to go against the universal flow. Release it all now and start living in an adventure of expanded awareness. Prepare yourself for the great reveal. We are light. So repeat after me. We are light. We are light. We are abundance. We are abundance. We are love. We are love. And so it is. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let us turn within and trust that divine blessing, the divine presence that is the one life, that is God's life, that is our life right here and right now. That beautiful blessedness that brought us into this world, that will take us home, and that supplies and supports us every single step of our journey. Let us connect with that presence, to know it as our own, to know that it belongs to each of us, that we are beautiful and divine and loved and so abundant simply by being here. In this place of deep knowing, I trust and I know that there is a power and a presence that has our every need. And so it is easy for us to offer ourselves to the divine. It is easy for us to live in gratitude. It is easy for us to clear out our space. It is easy for us to let go of complaining. It is easy for us to affirm both our receiving and our giving. Today we are wide receivers. We have already received so much. We are already so blessed. We are already filled with the harmony and beauty and power and love of God. And today we have the eyes to see it. I know that our eyes to see, our ability to receive and give, all of what we have spoken of today, it goes forth and it multiplies. It multiplies in our lives as we practice the principles, but it also multiplies in the lives that we touch. This message ripples around the world and blesses many. For as our lives expand and become a blessing, this adds to the entire cosmos. So I'm just so grateful for this. So grateful for everything. So grateful for the transformation that I know is taking place in each and every heart right here and right now. So grateful for the transformation in the world. So grateful for the peace, love, harmony, abundance, and understanding that is. I bless this spiritual center as I bless all paths to God. Churches, temples, mosques, ashrams, fundamentalists, atheists, Sikhs, agnostics. I celebrate these blessings. I give thanks for everything. And with a heart that is so filled with love and abundance, I release these words into the divine mystery. And together we say, and so it is. Namaste. So, divine love, thank you so much for bringing us here together. Thank you for this beautiful community, these beautiful full hearts, this beautiful, beautiful sanctuary where we meet together and celebrate the oneness of all. Thank you so much for being, and thank you also for following us out of here into our lives and helping us continue to practice these principles so that our lives may expand and be beautiful and wonderful and gifts to the world. I'm so grateful for this time together, just so grateful for all that we have learned and all that we have shared, and for the sharing that is ongoing in this spiritual community. May we be happy, may we be well, may we be blessed, may we be love itself. And with a heart filled with such love and gratitude, I say thank you, Spirit, thank you, love, and I release these words into the divine mystery. And together we say, and so it is.